ways to write an equation. All right. Some of the ways are going to be after break. So we're going to learn one way today, and this finishes up everything before midterm. This one is very easy. It has the words slope, intercept in there. So slope, intercept form. What in the world are those things? I'm about to tell you. But those are the two things that you have to have. A slope and a y-intercept. So real quick, if I had a graph, I'll just draw a ugly sketch of a graph. This is your x and this is your y-axis, okay? The y-intercept is the word we're talking about. We're talking about a slope, which is the slant of the line. How steep is it? We did all that yesterday and the class before. We'll look at it again today. The y-intercept means where does it cross the y-axis? So yesterday, every time it went through 0, 0. Do y'all remember that? So your y-intercept yesterday was 0. Well, today, we're going to move our graphs up or down. That's it. All right, we're just going to use a number and either move it up or down. So let's pretend that this is the number 2, and I have this line going through here. Let's pretend it's good. All right, that means that's a y-intercept of, what number did I say? 2. That's what a y-intercept is. Where did it cross the y-axis? At 2. That's all that means. Okay, so we already learned slope. Now today we're looking at the y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? If it was down here, let's say a different type of slant of a line. Okay, I'll do a different slope. But where does it cross this one at? Negative 3. So what's your y-intercept? Negative 3. So yesterday when we graphed, we started at 0, 0. Well, today we may have moved up or down. That's it. Okay? So something we'll learn about also later, and they talk about now, that they'll have a parent function and then all these other graphs. The parent function is just the basic one that we learned yesterday. It just goes through 0, 0. Okay? A linear equation, that's another word they're using, makes a straight line. That's all we're doing, I think, in this whole chapter. I say in this whole chapter. Well, we'll just stick with that for now. But we're doing straight lines for quite a while. And then I just went over y-intercept. Okay, this is what the equation is, and I'll put this on the board. See, like those things, I have something else like the equation I'll put on the board later. But this is slope-intercept form. Let me write that down. Slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay? Those are the two things. The slope, we already learned we used m for slope. So what's the b? The b is your y-intercept. Okay? The first few problems are super duper easy. And you can kind of look on your study guide. On your study guide, it's the problems like 26 and 27. Okay, and we're about to do something like that. So the first one says, okay, in this equation, y equals 5x minus 3. What's the slope and what's the y-intercept? What is the slope? 5. That easy. It's just the number in front of x. The slope is 5. So I may write it like that. The slope is 5. And what's my y-intercept? Yeah, be very careful. That is a negative 3. They just want us to be able to tell. Our slope is 5 and our y-intercept is negative 3. In a minute, we'll graph that. But that's why we need to be able to figure that out first. Slope is 5. Y-intercept is negative 3. All that means is I start at negative 3 and I go up 5 and over 1. And I'm done graphing. Yeah.
What do you do with the x?
That your y and your x, that means it's just, they could be anything. Like if I pick a number 1 for x, then I can look on my graph and see where y is. Those just stay your variables all the time. Because this line goes on and on forever and ever. So no matter what x value I pick, there's a y value that goes with it. So they just stay x and y. Because I can pick anything for them. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay? When I do a graph in a little bit, I'll show you why those stay y and x. Yep.
How do you make that equation? Like, how do you know which ones to use?
Well, like in this case, they give us an equation. Later, we may have a graph, and we can make an equation from the graph. It's just backwards. But let me get to that in a minute. Right now, all I'm expecting you to do so far today is figure out which one's the slope and which number's the y-intercept. So if I give you y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3/4, what's my slope? Negative 1/2. And then what's my y-intercept? 3/4. And that's it. So look, if you're looking at your study guide, whatever number I told you, it's that easy, right? You're just saying what's what. Okay? Then the next one is backwards from that. I'm telling you, is everybody okay with this? I'm assuming we're not fine. All you have to know is that's your slope, that's your y-intercept. Write them down. Like, look at your study guide. What number did I tell you?
26 and 27.
Okay, so on number 26, I want you to tell me what's the slope
Is it -4?
and what's your y-intercept.
2.
There you go.
So it's D.
So it's D. That's it. That's all you're doing. Yes.
Would 27 be A?
27 is A. That's correct. So that's what I'm about to go over now. Okay? It's just backwards. So they say, okay, you have a slope of -4/5 and a y-intercept. Your y-intercept is 7. They actually use the words y-intercept, but I don't feel like writing all that out.
Say negative 4/5.
-4/5 and 7. Okay, slope, y-intercept. Now they want me to write the equation. Okay, it's just y equals m times x plus b. Any questions there? My slope goes there, my y-intercept goes there. Okay, and you can see how they ask you that on 27. Okay, we're good? Yeah. Do I need to do another one of those? One more of those. Okay. So on this one, let's say that I have a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 7/8. Or we'll do a -7/8. Let me do that. Okay? So my equation is y equals mx plus b. That's what I'm doing. So y equals 2
2x minus 7.
minus 7/8. Yes. Some of you may have written plus -7/8, and that's the same thing. Okay? And by now you need to kind of start seeing that. That's the same thing. Okay. Let's see. On your, I have a worksheet.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to go ahead and do some of these real quick before we move on to the graphing, since y'all are already in this mode? I think what we'll do is just 2 through 14 evens, okay? 2 through 4. Questions? Questions? Or can we keep going? We're good. There were a few of y'all I thought that had questions.
That's the reason we use them.
No?
It's for the next one.
Okay. All right, here we go. Aston, go back to your seat.
My name's No.
Shh. Okay. The next one says, write an equation from a graph. I'm going to try not to show you the answer. All right. Here is the graph right here. Now, there's two things that we need. What are they? They're
Slope.
and yep, the y-intercept and the slope. Good job. Good job, y'all. We can tell both of those things. On this little graph, what's my y-intercept?
-2.
Does everybody see that? Like, why is it -2?
Wait, how do I
Because it
know
goes
this
through
is
the
the Y?
y-axis.
This is the y-axis up and down, and it even, they label it for you. What are they telling you? What's right here?
2.
The y. Okay, yeah, that's a 2, but it's the y-axis. Yeah, you were right. I was pointing to the 2. But it's the y-axis, and where is it crossing that? At -2. So, my y-intercept is -2. Do y'all remember how we find the slope?
No. Oh, yeah, the formula.
A rise over run. You can use the formula, or you can just do rise over run. So, I'm thinking, let me go from here to here. Do y'all remember why I picked those 2 points? Why is it so what?
Why is it so little on your bowl?
I don't know. It's awful. I hate it. What?
That's how it goes up.
Yeah, well, and you
It
can
won't hit me.
you can tell exactly where those points are because they're kind of like in a corner, right, of the little square. I can't tell Can y'all tell where that point is? No. So I'm not going to pick that point. Does everybody understand what I'm doing on that? I know where this point is, and I know I can see where that point is. So let me go from one to the other. I'm going to go up 2 and over 1. What is that number? 2 over 1 is 2. So my slope is 2. My y-intercept is negative 2. So look at those answer choices. My slope is 2. I know you can see it. My slope is 2 and my y-intercept is negative 2. Which one matches that? D. Okay. Any questions?
Wait.
Okay.
What? 16?
I'm just, I don't know. I haven't looked in on your worksheet. Yeah, it's like 16, 17, and 18. But you just have to find the slope and the y-intercept because they don't give them to you this time.
Do you want us to do that?
Well, y'all are going to do 16 and 18, and I'm going to do 17 in a minute. But do y'all want me to do one more of these? Yes. Okay. Y'all are rushing me. All right, on this one, I'll write it down. It's a pencil. I can erase it. What's my y-intercept?
Whatever.
2.
2. This, I go up 1, 2. Does everybody see that my y-intercept is 2? So look, if I were you, you could write that down. My y-intercept is 2. Now for my slope, can y'all tell that it's negative without even figuring it out? Because it's going down. So I already know that's going to be negative, but let's pick some points. I'll pick this point and this point. Do y'all see how I can pick those two? I know exactly where they are. So I would go down 1 and over 1.
So it's negative.
Down 1 and over 1. Down 1 and over 1. It's negative 1 over 1. What is negative 1 over 1?
Negative
1.
Negative 1. Do I need to say any of that again? Okay. Let's start back at the y-intercept. Where is it crossing? Look, I know they can't see me in the video, but I'm going to come up here. Where is it crossing my y-axis? Right here. What is that number?
3.
1, 2.
Oh.
2. So that's why I wrote my y-intercept is 2. I'll do something with that in a minute. My slope, I need to pick some points along the line to go from one point to the next. Where do I go? So I picked this point and this point. Does everybody see that? If I start at this point, how much do I go up or down?
1.
Down 1. We call down 1 a negative 1. Then where do I go?
Over 1.
Over 1. Down 1 and over 1 would look like this. Down 1, over 1.
Wait.
So, what is negative 1 over 1?
Negative 1.
Just type in your calculator if you need to. It's negative 1. Y'all, 5 over 1 is what? 5. Negative 3 over 1 is what?
3.
Negative 3. Negative 1 over 1 is
Negative
negative 1. It's just your top
Those
number.
are really easy.
It's just your top number. Alright? But it sounded confusing.
Is it always going to be like that?
Now let's write our equation. Anytime it's over 1, yeah, it's just your top number. Your calculator would tell you the same thing if you put it in there. Okay, now you have to write your equation. So how would I write it? Y equals,
X minus 1.
careful, use mx. Mx plus b. Y equals negative 1x plus 2.
B was the slope.
Nope, your m is your slope. So it's y equals negative 1x plus 2. You can put the 1, or you don't have to. It can be an understood one. I'm good either way, okay, as far as a worksheet goes. But if it was multiple choice, would you be able to know that negative x is the same thing as a negative 1x? Because you're saying there's one of them, okay? Yes, no?
Miss Ra- oh my goodness. Amanda.
Uh-huh.
So whenever your line crosses the y-axis,
That's-
the last number, the first number I mean.
That's wherever it crosses the y-axis, that's the last number. That's your b. That's your y-intercept.
All my answers were backwards, so.
Do I need to do some of that on the worksheet with you? Okay. On the worksheet with you. Let's see. We'll use Mary Claire's worksheet. Number 16. Or do y'all want me to give you a second to try it?
Yeah.
Let me give you, just look at 16. If you don't know how to do it, just stop and wait on me.
18.
Oops, I did not mean to do that. I put grades up there on my recording.
Yes, man, are we doing 16 and 18?
You're doing, yeah, just try 16 for now. On number 16, are y'all listening? Shh, even if you already have it, y'all pay attention. That way we're not talking. You're looking only at the y-axis. Where is it crossing my y-axis? Right here. What is this number? 1. So I'm going to write that down. My y-intercept is 1. Oops, y'all can't even see that.
That sun's trying to kill me.
Now, your slope, you can't see that. There. Okay, you need to find some points on the line where we can actually tell where they are. It's like somebody used the word like in an even spot, if that makes sense to you. This right here, where they're in the corners, I can tell exactly where those points are. Y'all, it doesn't matter where those points, what point you choose. You're going to start at 1 and try and get to the next one. Okay, that's all you're doing. So, if I start at this point, to get to my next point, where am I going to go? Up 2 and over 1. What is that number? 2 over 1. That's your rise over run. It's 2. 2 over 1. Does everybody understand that? Yes, no? I'm going to do number 18 next. So, if I write my equation, it's y equals mx plus b. So y equals 2x plus 1. You wrote the equation to that line. Now, here's the other thing. Somebody a while ago said, why do you leave the x and the y? That means like if I plugged in that my x value is 0, then I would be at 1. Look, if I plugged in 0, what would my y value be? 1. 0 and 1 go together. Like no matter what x value I pick, there's a y value that goes with it. That's what I mean, forever and ever and ever. Like if I picked an x value of 1, where is my y at? 3. Now let's see, does that happen? What's 2 times 1 plus 1? See how no matter what x value you pick, that's why you leave the x's and y's there. Okay? You may not understand that yet, but that's why you have x and y. Here's your slope. Here's your y-intercept. Let's skip to 18 because number 17 is a little different. Why are y'all laughing at me? Or at each other, and then you don't want me to notice you're laughing at each other. Okay, on number 18, what's your y-intercept?
4.
4. Does anybody not see that? Now's the time to say, where'd you get that? Everybody got that?
Yes.
Yes. Here it is. That's your y-intercept. So I'm going to write that down. My y-intercept is 4. Now, what is my slope? Well, let me just pick some points on there. I can tell where that one is. I can tell where that one is. So, I start at 1, and I'm trying to get to the next one. So, I'm going to go, yeah, it's going to be negative. We can already tell that. So, I'm going to go down 1 and over 2. So, let me write that down. Down 1 and over 2. Negative 1 over 2.
Negative 2.
Nope. Negative 1/2. It's not 2 over 1. It's 1 over 2.
I got negative 2 over 1.
Charlie,
Nope.
You're
you went over
specialized.
first.
You have to go up or down first. And in this case, we went down 1 and over 2. Make sure you see that. Do you see it?
I'm not even.
No, we have no idea. Who said that they have no idea?
Charlie's a confused lost stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm lost on your line.
What?
Really?
Wait, hold on. I can't hear her question. Shh. Because you pick a point and start. Now, to get to my next point, am I going to go up or down to get to it? That's why. So you're just trying to get from here to here. All right, how do I get from point A to point B? Well, I would have to go down 1 and over 2. That's why it's a negative 1 and a positive 2. Okay? And you can tell it's negative, some of you, because the way it's going down. Like you can already tell that your slope is going to be negative because look at the line. It's going down. Now let me write my equation. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Did we get that one? Okay, number 17 is weird. That's why I saved it for last for this one. What's my slope? 0. It is a 0 slope. Okay? 0 slope. So there was a problem up above. I said I'd go over it and I never did. When you have a slope of 0, you don't even write your x. Okay? You don't even write, because if I did, let's say that I did. Y equals 0x. I'm going to write it for just a second. Now, what's my y-intercept? Minus 5. Negative 5. Now, 0x goes completely away because it's nothing. So it's y equals negative 5. So that's what, anytime there's a line like that, that's what your equation's going to look like. Y equals negative 5. Okay?
Dude, imagine a first grader looking at this kind of math.
I totally guessed on that 0. I did not even know.
She's not as
If it was up and down, it would have been what? Undefined. Which we'll get to that in a little bit. Maybe not today on that one.
Does that look like Miss Brown?
Okay. I want to do the next one. We're going to flip over. I'm going to do 29.
After number 28 on the study guide.
Yeah. Do y'all, is that like, y'all can do 28, I think. Number 28 on here. Look, it's multiple choice. So if you find the slope first, then you'll actually already know your answer.
That's it.
So they give you, do you see that they give you 2 points? Then use them. If they didn't give you 2 points, then you would have to find your own. They give you 2 points, so let's start at this one. How do I get to my next one to find my slope? I'm going to go down 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then how many do I have to go over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No.
Which one has a slope of down 5 and over 8? That's the only one. So you already know that that's your answer. And you can kind of tell that your y-intercept is really, really close to 1. Well, 7/8 is also really, really close to 1. It's an eighth away from it. Okay, question, Bryson?
I was going to say that A and B look exactly the same, but then I saw the negative sign.
Yep, the negative is what matters. That's right, the negative matters. Okay,
Now we can do our
now we can do numbers 28 and through so.
Should I get graph paper?
Yeah, and I have graph paper. Oh, no,
What have we
We got
got?
graph stamps too.
and I have graph stamps. I want to look at, let me put mine on here.
Boom.
Ooh, it's going to be crooked.
It's
I
okay.
can already
Yeah, but
tell.
I still don't need anything on it.
All right, number 29.
Oh my goodness. Samantha, can you grab this paper?
Hold on, y'all.
A
Hold on.
graph piece of
If
paper.
I feel like I'm having to yell today. I'm going to have a sore throat tomorrow. Like yelling over y'all. All right, here's my graph. They want me to go backwards from what I just did. I'm going to use what 2 pieces of information? A slope and a what? Y-intercept. Does everybody see that on my equation? What's my slope?
4.
What's my y-intercept? Does everybody understand that and remember that? Yes, we're good with that. Now, what's my starting point? What's my y-intercept?
1.
-1. That means on your y-axis, I want everybody to understand what this means. I'm going to go down 1, and that's my starting point. Yesterday, our starting point was 0, 0, because we didn't add or subtract anything, right? Now that they're adding or subtracting something, they're saying, on this problem, you're going to go down 1 from the origin. So let me do that. I'm going to go down 1 and mark my point. Does that make sense, y'all? If this was a +4, where would I have gone? I would have gone up 4 and started there. If this said -3, where would I have gone? Down 3 and started there. If there was no number here, I would have started at 0. Okay, is this kind of making sense? It's telling you where to start from. In this case, I'm going to go down 1 and I'm starting here. Now, it's like yesterday we did some of these. What's my slope? 4. So I'm going to go up how many? 4 and over 1. So let me do that. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1.
So do you only go that way?
If there's no number in the denominator, you always go over 1. Okay? It's like an understood 1. We always have understood 1s. What did you say, Chloe?
Chloe's here?
You dummy.
Okay, what did you say?
I said like we go that way always.
Yes, you always go to the right. You always read from left to right. So you always go either up or down first and then to the right. Let me do another one. Does this make sense, y'all? Yes, no? Let's do, we need some more. I'm zoomed in. Let me zoom out some.
This is more confusing than sure.
This is confusing?
More
Okay.
confusing than Shirley.
This one, let's have y equals, I'm going to do number 31. 3x minus 2. Can somebody tell me my starting point? Where am I going to go? Down 2. It's telling me I'm shifting this whole graph down 2. So 1, 2, and that's my starting point. It's not the origin this time. Do I need to explain that again? Yes? Okay. Anytime, no matter what this number is, your plus or your minus out there, that's where it moves your graph from the origin. Okay? This one has moved. Your origin is right here at this 0. All the time. That's where your origin is. Where have we moved? Down 2. So I'm going to, instead of starting at 0, I'm going to shift my pencil down 2, and that's my starting point. Okay? Now from there, what's my slope? 3. And that means I'm going to go up 3 and over what? 1. Anytime it's not written as a fraction, you can think of it like that. 3 over 1. So from my point that I just plotted on my graph, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1.
So if it's a fraction, do you do with the bottom number?
Yeah, if it's a fraction,
It's like 1/2, you're going to go
up 1 and over 2. I'll do one like that. I'll make one up for the next one. So there you go. That's that graph for number 31. Okay, I'm going to make up one that has a fraction and a negative. All right.
What? A fraction and there?
Well, yeah, just, you can handle this. It's the same thing we've been doing. It's just a different number.
We're graphing the fancy graph. Totally different.
Okay, y equals negative 3/4 plus 2. So where is my starting point? Where am I going to go? 2. Does anybody not understand that? Because it told me shift your graph up 2, plus 2. So I'm going to real quick do my first point. 1, 2.
Wait, which one are we doing?
I made this one up. I'm sorry. All right, so one more time I'll say that. Here's my equation. This number out here is where you go from your origin, and it's telling me go up 2. So from my origin, I go up 2 and plot that point. Now, from there,
What number is this?
I made this one up because I wanted to give y'all a fraction with a negative. Now it's telling me to use my slope. What's my slope, y'all? Negative 3 over 4. So I'm going to go down 3 and over 4. Okay? Down 3 and over 4. From my point. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. And draw. Oof.
That's beautiful.
Oh, y'all don't make fun of me.
We're not making
I
fun
do that
of you.
every time, it's okay.
That's a Jenkins.
Okay.
Try like 6 different lines going into one.
What was
James.
31's equation?
31. What do you mean it's equation? Y equals 3x minus 2. Oh, this one right here. There you go. Y'all, any questions? How do we feel on those? I want you to understand this.
Iffy.
Why don't y'all do,
Can you do another one like the one you just did?
yeah,
Oh, wait, can you do one with like just an X? and
yeah,
then
I'll do
What
one.
if this
Oh,
extreme science guy makes frogs disappear?
Huh?
okay, that's so random.
What?
No,
Why don't you have a
I was
backpack?
snapping Colin Hessen last night, and he's like, "What's the science assembly thing we
I don't
had?"
know
I was like,
that.
"What are you talking about?"
Okay. My last two. Here we go. I'm going to do one with a fraction. Y equals 2/3 x minus 1. And then I'm going to do one with just an x. Shh. Okay. These are my last two for my graphs. What's on my first one? What's my starting point? Where am I moving? Down 1. Okay. I moved down 1. From there, where am I going to go using my slope? Up 2 and over 3. Your top number and then your bottom number. Up 2, because it was positive, and over 1, 2, 3. We always go to the right, because that's how you would read. Now, on the next one, ignore that slope for a second. What's my y-intercept? 2. So I'm going to go up 2, and that's my starting point. 1, 2. From there, this one's weird. What is that number in front of x? An understood -1. Yes, there's a 1 in front of it.
Understood one.
An understood. We have understood ones everywhere. Okay, so there's a -1. What does that mean? If I write that -1, it means you go down 1 and over 1. So from my point, I go down 1 and over 1. Anytime it's just an x, here's a hint. Anytime it's just an x, it's like meeting at every corner of the squares. Okay, it's just going down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, or up 1 over 1. Anytime it's just an x, it goes through every corner. I don't know if that's just like a little hint for you. So those are usually pretty easy to draw as I mess up, because they go through every corner. Okay? Do y'all want to try 28 and 32? And my graph paper's under my candle if you want to pass some out. Yes. Time for your study guide review. We've barely gone over any of it. 32, I'm just going to go over that real quick. My starting point would be what? Nope, my starting point on number 32 is 1. So I'm going to start here. From there, Aston, where am I going to go? I'm going to go, it's a -5, so I go down 5 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. Okay? Do y'all want me to go over those 2 problems and to check them on the study guide? Yes? All right, let's look at the study guide, and then I'm going to come back and finish up our worksheet. On the study guide, just because I'm trying to go through some of these, let's look at 30 and 31. All right, on number 30,
Okay.
actually,
This is the
there's
study
somebody.
guide.
Who's 29?
Number 30, I haven't done 29 yet
Oh, okay.
on the study guide. All right, what's my starting point? And this one, I'm not sure if it's multiple choice or if you have to graph it. I can't remember what I did. I may have made it to where you have to actually graph it. But my starting point is -3. So I'm going to go, well, and is my slope negative or positive?
Where was the
On number 30.
positive?
It's positive. You should already, y'all listen, you should already be able to tell those slopes are negative. It's not A or B. It's either C or D. So I start down at 3, and then where do I go from there? Well, you can already tell it's going to be D. I start at -3, and then I go up how many? What's my slope?
5.
4.
Oh.
I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. And I stay on my line. So it's D. If you look at C, if I go down to 3, am I on my line? No. Okay, does this make sense? Yes, no? Did y'all get D for number 30? As your,
It just kind of clicked. I don't know how to do it.
well, you just go down 3, and then from there you're going to go up 4 and over 1. And it may not be multiple choice. I'll tell y'all more on that, like which ones are on the test from the study guide and if I changed any. I think that's the only one I may have changed, like from multiple choice to.
That made sense.
Okay. 31, what's my starting point? -3, and from there, where am I going to go?
Down -2.
Down 2 and over 1. That's right. So we have to find the graph that matches. Let me start with A. If I'm at -3, do I go down 2 and over 1? That looks like it matches to me. Okay? You could check your other graphs, but it's going to be A. Okay? This one, you don't even go down to 3. Look, if I mark down 3, am I on my line? No, I'm not on my line. So we could tell it's not that graph. All right, we feel good about those?
No.
Okay. On number 31 again, Aston, it says go down to 3. To -3, I mean. You get that? So look at C. On part C, if I go down to -3, am I on my line? Then that's not my answer. Like when you go down to -3, you have to be on the line. Okay, D, I'm on the line, and A, I'd be on the line. Then from that point, I have to go down 2 and over 1. D does not match. D has a positive slope. What type of slope is in our equation? A negative. So it has to be going down. So start at -3, go down 2 and over 1. That's the one that matches. Okay. The last type of problem
It's gonna be difficult.
no, we got this, is write an equation that passes through the given point. Maybe a little bit. This one may be a little bit difficult. All right, let me just do some of these are on here. I'll do 21. Let me look at 21.
Oh, yeah.
Look at all the ladies.
Lots of numbers on this one, so we're gonna have to figure out the equation. Where?
They're all up there.
Yeah, they're all over here too.
Yeah, I saw one crawling through like 40
I hate like bugs. They stink. Oh well, they're everywhere. You're out a lot.
Those are really,
Have
those
you seen
are,
library?
Yeah.
those are Asian beetles.
Right.
Okay,
You kill them, they stink.
please don't kill them.
So don't kill it.
Okay, here we go. I need a slope and a y-intercept.
Oh.
And they didn't give me either one of those things. Shh, listen. They didn't give me either one of those things on this problem, right? They gave me 2 points. Can I find the slope?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We got to that
We have that formula, Aston, that said y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You subtract your y's and you subtract your x's. That was another way we could find our slope. All right, so let's do that. We're still missing a y-intercept, but let's find the slope. So what y do y'all want me to start with? 3 minus 1. All right, now for my x's, that means I have to start with what? -1 minus -3. Uh-huh. These are x's. Right?
Oh yeah.
All right, but now that minus -3, that looks yucky to me.
Yeah.
So I would put a plus sign, right? Is that what y'all would do? Okay. I don't know how y'all learned that in 8th grade. This is why I don't, or 7th grade or whatever. That's why I don't like to teach that. Okay. So -1 minus -3 becomes -1 plus 3. What's 3 minus 1?
2.
And what's -1 plus 3? 2.
Yeah.
What in the world is 2 over 2?
1.
There you go. My slope is 1.
So that's our M.
That's our M. What are we missing?
Our B.
B. We have to have an M and a B.
I don't know.
This is the hard part. Okay?
She said that.
I have to find a B, but they give me plenty of information to do it. Let me real quick write down my equation. This is what you were asking about a little bit ago. Y equals mx plus B.
What? Who's asking that?
Oh, you have to do it. I've already done that part.
So we know M. We know M is what? We know M is 1. I need to find B. Do I know anything else?
I mean, you're
Actually, I know a lot more.
you're pretty smart, Miss Amanda.
I know y'all know it too. You'll see it. Do I know an X and a Y?
Yes.
I actually know 2 of them, right? But I could pick one. You just pick one. It'll give you the same answer. Okay? Because all these points will be on the line. What point would y'all like to pick?
-1.
-1, 3, he says. So, -1 goes there. And I'm doing all this color code. 3 is going to go where?
Where the B is.
Where the Y is. Because those are my X and my Y. What am I trying to find?
Wait, what's going on?
If you
Okay.
pay attention, you know.
Remember, an ordered pair is an X and a Y, right? So you're going to plug them in for X and Y. And I already found my slope. If I plug in all these things, I told y'all this was a harder one. I think there's only one of these on the study guide. Only one.
Yeah, there is. It's number 29.
Yeah.
I'm working on it right now.
Okay, so I have to find my B. And let me tell you, once I find my B, then I've got everything I need. Okay? So let's plug them in. I'm going to put a 3 for my Y, a 1 for my M, and times a negative 1 for my x. Is everybody okay with me plugging those numbers in? I said, okay, y is 3, so I put that there. M was 1, so I put that there. And x was negative 1, so I put that there.
Plus 4?
So 3 equals, what's 1 times negative 1? Plus b. How do I solve for b?
You have to add 1 to each side.
Add 1, and what's my b going to be?
4.
4. B is 4. It's a lot of work. So I have my slope,
Why is it so colorful?
and I have my y-intercept, because I'm trying to be like Lily.
She uses like a whole.
I know,
like
I
her
just
sheets
love,
are
let me
like
tell you,
a-
I love grading her papers. I'm like, Lily's paper, so pretty.
Who?
Lily, have y'all ever seen her papers?
You ever seen
She
her,
writes
her
on
notes
each
or
one.
Well,
something?
I mean, it's all like color-coded. Like, I'm not making fun of you. I'm like amazed. Okay.
Lily, show,
Um,
show her that paper I messed up with.
Well, I mean, it's like her answers are all highlighted, sometimes different colors. So, anyway. Sorry, Lily.
No, like she'll send like pictures of her notes.
It's like
If
goals.
I need to
Dude,
we're just like,
good math class.
like we'll ask her. Like we'll text the group chat. We'll be like, hey, can someone send the notes from today? And then like she sends it and so it's like
So-
how it's graded. I really do.
Okay, so my answer, y'all,
It looks pretty
y
good.
equals 1x plus 4. You can put the 1 or you don't have to put the 1. Okay, I'm not going to make you do many of these from the
Wait,
worksheet. Yes.
what is the answer you
What
gave?
numbers do we need to do?
Right there. This was on the worksheet. It was 21. Look, do y'all want to try the one on the study guide?
All we have to do is write the equation.
Yes, that's what they want, is write the equation. Do y'all want me to do one more, or do y'all want to go ahead and try the study guide?
One more.
I'll do one more, and if you want to, you can start on your study guide. That's number 29, Jaden.
Yes, I am.
29. I'm not going to assign you these from the worksheet.
I got no.
Hey, do we need? Can we
Okay.
do this
Don't
No, in just a second.
I have for 29 days.
If you need help, I'm doing number 23 up here. If you don't need another example, you're doing 29 on your study guide. 10 and 2, negative 2, negative 2. So I need a slope and a y-intercept. Let's start with the slope, because I have a formula.
So you can do 2 minus 2.
Okay, so 2 minus negative 2.
That's.
So yeah, she's right. That'll
Let me
change.
get this measure.
Since I started with my 2, what must I start with on the bottom? 10 minus a negative 2. What happens with that minus a negative again? Plus. There we go.
Wait, can you
Wow.
I'll stop. I'll give y'all a second to get that. So I just did y minus y. It became a plus sign. X minus x. But it became a plus sign.
Are we gonna be able to have a calculator on the midterm?
This is.
You can have a calculator. Yes. On this,
Wait.
hold on.
Whenever you say
Wait, do I have
Wait,
the wrong
shh,
study
Bryson.
guide?
10 minus negative 2, how are you just putting that as a positive? Then it's 12 instead.
It is 12, and it's supposed to be, because look, 10, type in 10 minus negative 2 on your calculator.
I thought you said 21.
If you type that in, it's going to give you 12 because of keep, change, change. It becomes plus a positive. Did y'all ever learn keep, change, change?
I've always learned if there's two negatives
But I
beside each
forgot
other,
it.
if you like do a line, then it makes it a positive. That's what
I
always
like you do
been
it in
taught that.
parentheses and then it looks like a plus sign.
Yeah, right. That's what
Like
we
do
always
the negative 2 in parentheses
like. Yeah, and it looks like a plus sign.
and then the middle looks like a plus sign.
Okay.
That's how I've always learned.
Yeah. I always taught it
Y'all are
keep,
so
change,
bright.
change, and then we did keep, change, flip. But I didn't teach, I don't teach that very much. Like, even when I taught in public school, we had like one little class as a review.
Keep change flip. I don't remember anything.
But keep, change, change. If it's minus a negative, it looks really yucky. So you can change it. Minus a negative plus a positive. Okay? So that's,
Old school. We had like how she taught it to us. This is like 6th grade was like zip zap. So you had 2 and then you just like add the 2 lines.
add 2 lines. Yeah, that's,
What numbers
Or-
do I get to choose from for my x, like my x values?
you either this order pair, what do you mean for your x value? Like to find the slope or to plug them back in?
To find my what the
X and the
The
okay,
Where
so
I
you can
found my
pick
B.
either ordered pair. That would be an X and a Y, and that would be an X and a Y. You can pick either one. No, you.
okay.
Does that make sense?
If I
But
choose, like,
but if
10
I
to 2.
yes, you would have to choose just this point, or you can't mix it up, or just that point. Okay, back to this one, y'all. So I get 2 plus 2 is 4, and 10 plus 2 is 12. All right, and if you can't reduce that, your calculator could. It's just 1 over 3. I divide them both by 4, and I would get 1, and divide that by 4, and I would get 3. That's my slope. Now, for my equation, I need y equals mx plus b. I don't have my b. So I'm going to plug in several things to find it. I will plug in my m, my slope. I will plug in an x. And I will plug in a y. Because those are all the letters in my equation.
That's so funny.
Y equals mx plus b. So what is my y value that I highlighted up there? 2. So I'm going to write that down. What's my slope value that I highlighted? This one's kind of yucky, but it's okay. What's my x value that I highlighted? 10. So if I do I need to stop for a second? I just plugged them in. Now, if I multiply that, 2 equals 10 thirds plus b. Okay, some of us hate fractions. What is 1/3 times 10? What's 1 times 10? 10. That's all I did. 10
Literally not
thirds.
answer that.
Huh?
I said no one even answered that.
No, well, I'll just answer myself. Now, am I done? Did I get my b? No. I have to subtract 10 thirds. That seems difficult, but y'all, your calculator, all you'd have to do is 2 minus, what, 10 thirds. And it's going to tell you what it is, okay? It'll tell you. It's 4 over 3. That's what Chloe told me. So, I'm just going to put 4 over 3 as my y-intercept. And y'all, if we need more practice on these, we can do some more on Tuesday. Y'all have like 15 minutes. I just want you doing your study guide. I'll take up this worksheet, but I just want you working on study guide.
Can I take them off?
Yes, you can take them out. Thank you.